So now we're going to have some fun with some alcohol pearls on dark cardstock. Now, if I were to use just the regular alcohol inks on dark cardstock, they're transparent. You're not going to see the color. So you need to use something that has some micas or some pigments with it in order for them to work properly. So these have a little metal ball in them. You need to shake them up really, really well to make sure that everything is mixed properly. Now, you also need to use some alcohol blending solution because of the resins, the micas, whatever. You can't use isopropyl. It reacts funny with the alcohol pearls. So you have to use some blending solution. Now, one way to get these to show up on dark cardstock is to say use the Snow White mixative or use a metallic with it so that the color will show up on top of those, but by themselves, I mean, you can see that there's a spot there, but unless you knew that was pink, you would have no idea. So let's put some blender solution here. And then the pearls. And I chose pearls that were very similar in color to the rest of the colors we're using in this class. So make them look similar to the other cards. And we blow them around in a fairly similar fashion. Because of the micas in them, they don't move quite the same. And you can use these pearls on just the regular glossy cardstock or the Yupo. They will work absolutely perfect on that as well. So you don't need to just use dark cardstock. All right, let's put a few more. Build up the colors a little bit. I could turn that off while I'm doing this. And even like these, I even like them just like that. I think it looks really, really cool. So I'm not adding more of the blending solution just because I like the way that it looks. But if you wanted it to flow a little bit more, you could add some more. Put a few drops of the pink up at the top just to get a little bit more continuity with the rest of it. And I'm just going to let that dry like that. I'm going to leave some of the black on the sides here. Actually, I think I'm going to blend a little bit more out just down here. Just so it's not just a big line of black on the side there. I like having some of the background showing, but I don't want to have a whole bunch of it. All right, so that, I like that. So I'm going to let that dry and then I'll see you in a moment and we will do some stamping and embossing. All right, our alcohol ink is dry and we are ready to stamp and emboss. So we're not going to use the same tool that we've been blowing around embossing powder to emboss. I'm going to use a heat gun. A heat gun is going to emit heat to melt that powder. Very first thing we need to do is we're going to stamp our image. And I am stamping with, or I'm using Versamark ink to stamp. So that is a sticky clear ink that is going to let the embossing powder stick to it. So same as stamping before, I hold in one spot and I press around to make sure I get good contact with the paper. And then I'm going to pour the powder over top. If there's any parts of that alcohol ink that wasn't dry, this powder will stick to it, which is why you need to make sure that it's absolutely dry before you continue. And then we're going to heat it with the heat gun. So I'm going to move it slowly around with the heat gun. This is completely cool. I haven't used it yet today, so it's going to take a bit for it to warm up. But you'll see it go from granular matte to shiny and smooth. There you go. And always point this away from your hands. It does get quite hot, so we don't want to burn ourselves. So I'm just going to let that cool, and I will see you in a moment, and we'll put our card together.